Today I'm gonna be building the entire Among Us Polus Map with satisfying clay and cardboard. We are combining every single detail, from the massive dropship and the telescope to the laboratory testing tubes, the anti-infection chamber. We are building the whole landscape, plus the springboard into the lava, and to make it complete I'm adding a crew. So let's go! A part inside me always knew that I had to continue this series and create the Polus Map. Yeah, this is what we are doing, guys. And I'm pretty excited about that. It's insane again, because Polus is so much bigger than the Skeld map, which we have finished now. Okay, let's have a look. What do we want to create? We have office with the video beamer, then admin, and, well, this is the anti-infection chamber and the specimen room with all the beautiful specimens inside. I printed all these rooms out on this label paper, and the idea is we glue this onto the piece of cardboard. Yeah, and then we start sculpting, creating, cutting, killing, insulting map designers, whatever is necessary to finish the Polus Map. And hopefully this day will one day come. Over the Skeld map I learned a lot about map design, that it doesn't have to be logically at all. And we encounter crooked walls and ways which doesn't really make sense also on this map, but we'll come to this point, and yeah, I won't hide my anger about the madness, the map design madness. This way, for example. When it goes horizontally, it's way thinner than when the way is going vertically. Well, I'm just saying. Now, we finished gluing all the parts onto the cardboard. And yeah, I want to talk about the new map. The aircraft, what's it called? Airship, aircraft. It was leaked just yesterday on the Game Design Awards. And I fell in love with the design. And I even thought about, well, starting with this map instead of the Polus map right now, but it's too early, it's too difficult right now, because I need pretty good reference material. So we wait. They said it will be out at the beginning of next year, at the beginning of 2021. Yeah, that's the number for next year. Well done. And I'll promise you, you can count on this. As soon as the map is out, I'll grab my scalpel and I start working on the... Well, what was it called? The airship. Yeah, the airship from Among Us. Enough of this pre-talk. Let's talk about today's creation. Well, there's not much to tell, more to show. The walls are slightly shorter than the ones on Skeld, because in the rooms... Oh no. I broke my scalpel. Where's the blade? Look at that! Whoa. I can still use it. Yeah. Where was I? The walls, right. While setting up our hot glue gun, let me explain to you what I tried to build. In Skeld we had some holes and deepenings included into the map design. Now we also have this, like the lava, for example. But on this specific part, which we are creating today with admin office and the specimen room, we don't have this. We don't need anything underneath. For now, well, maybe later. these holes in the ground, for example. Well, but that's a different story for a different video. And this is why I created the walls a little bit shorter. Okay, now we are gluing all the walls together, that it makes sense, that it is logical. Yeah, beautiful. And for the outside part of the Polus map, I thought we could use some paper mache, for example. I can finally reuse this piece of cardboard because the cardboard itself has the perfect height. We have thick walls and thin walls. And this cardboard will be used for the thin walls. It is mainly used to separate the different rooms, while the thicker walls are used as an outline for the whole building. Here you see the comparison. The specimen room, for example, uses the thin walls. Thank you so much, guys, for all your good wishes after I told you that I had this infection in the eye, and it got so much better. My vision is not this. It's quite normal again. And while it was hurting for days and difficult to look at all, I did what I had to do. I asked you to create some memes around that, and I'll share some of these you posted on Reddit. For example, this one. Yeah, right now we're setting up the rooms inside. This is office, which has 2 rooms, even 3 in total when you count in the hall. ClayClaim, my eye is bad. Also ClayClaim. Casual. We're almost there, guys. This is the anti-infection chamber, and I found a very beautiful type of cardboard to create the tunnel to the specimen room. It should look like these corrugated walls or roofs, and I just really loved how it looks. It hasn't the exact same color, but maybe I'll just leave it the way it is. It's just too perfect for this purpose. Okay, gluing the last part. And now, well, we also want to give all the walls a beautiful texture. This is from the office room on the right side, for example. I removed all the details on the walls so that we can create them with clay and also make some further printouts and just stick them to the walls. Here in this room we have this bay window. And I removed just a layer of cardboard, and we have somehow the same situation in the hall as well. Okay. I decided to remove this wall again because I wanted to make a closable door to the anti-infection chamber. Look at that. Oh, it's so beautiful. I love it. Wait for the moment when I'll add some wool for the steam. And you will be as amazed as I am right now. Just cleaning up the table. Before we do the last working part with cardboard. There is an outline, and on the scaled map I decided to draw them, to draw all the outlines for the walls. This time we have individual buildings inside this landscape of Polus. And this is why I decided to glue the outline with this grey cardboard on top of the walls. This is the video beamer in the office room. And let's finally, minute 10, oh boy, start with the clay part. This clay color comes from the skin color set, but this time it's just wood. We'll reuse it for the table, for the big table in the office room, also with the emergency button. And there is also a tinier table on the left side with some coffee cups and a coffee machine on it. And some, I think it's donuts on this very plate. Let's focus on the donuts. Oh, I'm getting hungry right now. We have one with chocolate, vanilla, and this is the artificial taste one, which everyone picks first. Okay, just kidding. Yeah, have I told you that I am currently avoiding sugar as much as I can? Yeah, it's true. I am eating sugar once a week. Well, sometimes the week starts all over again the next day. We have this water dispenser, which is standing right on the back wall with cold water and hot water. So you can decide. And I take the translucent colors for these. They get slightly transparent after oven hardening. And I really hope for a beautiful effect. Later in the specimens room, we'll use these colors again. And then we have, of course, these plant pots, which changes the whole place and the atmosphere and makes it very, very homely and cozy. It's the tiny trunks. But I think they should be a little bit more crooked. We'll change this. And the emergency button, of course. Let me show you some of the artworks you posted on Reddit, on the subreddit ClayClaim, and I am so proud of you being that active in the subreddit. I really enjoy reading and seeing all your posts. Let's have a look. Oh, we have a first creation here. Oh, it's the Skeld, the spaceship, with a floating poor crewmate. Amazing, well done. And while creating on the video beamer, Prof Fluffy posted this creation, which is also very detailed. And we are ready to create the next plate full of donuts with the 3 flavors which we created before. Yeah, maybe you have noticed I am using the new tools, and I'll show them later to you. I'm completely honest, while creating all these foods, I got quite hungry. Let's have a look at Office, what we want to create now. Okay, it's also labeled as Office, although it's the room next door. Potato chips, black pepper and sea salt. If I'm getting fatter over the course of this series, creating the Polus Map, you guys know why. Okay. This is the table in the right room, in the right office room, with these tiny statues. And while creating, I tried to explain these tiny statues to me. Are these ghosts? Are they made out of snow? Because this is a snowy and cold place? I have no idea. Well, but imagining that it is that cold that they have frosty ice statues on the table in the office. Made me laugh. And then we have 2 television hanging on the wall and another technical device. I'm not sure if this is attached to a task. And we are going down the hall. And then we have some more decoration in the hall itself, also with 2 beautiful statues. And these ones I like the most, maybe because they are presented on these black shelves. Yeah, probably. The statues are probably in good memory for all the crewmates who innocently died because they were not the imposters. And every one of these got a tiny statue when they had a friend. Now let's place them onto the plate and put it into the oven. And let's have a look. Yeah, we have these 2 spins. And I happen to have the perfect spin color. This should be made quite easily. I'm not sure if I should draw the details. Yeah, using the scalpel always looks better. Also for the ventilation openings, the lockers, the 2 tiny lockers. Okay, that's it for the spins. Now, what do we have next? The shelves, the bookshelves, the television, and of course the admin table. But we start with the books. Books first, guys. Books and reading is cool. No, honestly. I am currently reading some books about making and directing movies. Because, well, there's an upcoming big project. Spoiler. The book before was The One Thing by Gary Keller. I think it was Gary Keller. Yeah. Also an amazing book when you really want to focus on your goals and to learn how to say no to many, many distracting things, which is always helpful. Yeah, we went into book production and we have some piles of books lying all over on this table, for example, on the admin table. Boy, how did I create the admin table the first time? I can't really remember. It's helpful. We did this before. Let's have a look.
A grid underneath the hologram.
Oh yeah, it was not painted.
Of some further instruments and the walls.
Yeah, we don't need these further instruments. We need the table, man. But this should look like the one which we have done before. And we are starting with the specimen room. Yep, for a short while, for a weak moment, I thought I could just take the table from the Scout map and put it into our admin. That would be so wrong. These are the tables for the specimen room, and they have this gray surface. I'm building them upside down. It makes it a little bit more even, the surface of the table, when they are put right on the surface of the plates for oven hardening. And then we have this keyboard and many different instruments. Now we need some red. Oh, this one is flat. Looks like a car drove over it. Yeah, it's the one. I didn't want to waste it, so I'm using it right now. Finally, to build 2 beautiful treasure chests out of these, with handles on the side. What is inside these boxes? Is another task also connected to these boxes? I'm not sure. Yeah, then we have some tubes. And they have the shape like an alien hand. And another pipe which is going to the table. So it's probably used for ventilation as well, because on the outside wall we have 5 openings. This is the translucent clay. It gets slightly transparent after oven hardening, and we have this water container on the left side. See that? Well, and then we have these 5 test tubes in the middle with floating stuff inside, probably some aliens. I am using the green and translucent purple and throwing in a lot of white as well. It's not the perfect way. In a perfect world I would have done this with the resin. Maybe I'll make a makeover one day when I get bored. I can start over again. Now let's focus on some clay parts. On the outside part we have a tube on the left side and these ventilation openings and security cams. A lot of security cams. I created some spare ones that I can use the security cams in later parts of the Polus map. This is the gigantic tube, which is right next to the entrance with the steering wheel. Well, let's use some wire as connection parts for the clay pieces. Hopefully it works. I really love the steering wheel, how it turns out. We'll flip this upside down once it is oven hardened. And we're ready to go into the oven. I told you before, these are the tools. I've been working on these for over a year now, with a big goal to make the most perfect, the amazing clay modeling tool. They come in 3 different woods, but it still takes a few more weeks, guys. I know you've been asking a lot about these. I have to take care of the packaging, the boxes, some legal stuff, and what to print onto the tools itself. As these tools are made for you, you should decide. Come up with crazy, amazing ideas what to print onto these tools. Give them a name. Is it just the clay modeling tool, or is it... well, you probably have a better idea. Let me know, write it down in the comments. And now we have a lot of freshly baked details, which we will paint now that they are oven hardened. This one is quite beautiful. It's the first thing we glue onto the map, and many will follow. This is the table with the coffee cups. I used this paper before, even for trees. I think I used them on... I can't remember the Fortnite map, but it looks just perfect as leaves of the tree. And this will be the table right in the office with the emergency button and the laptop on the right side. Let's paint some beautiful details and also write emergency from 2 sides. And there is this glass container on top. I used just an old piece of packaging. Okay. Now let's glue this over the emergency button that no one can press it too easily. Well, perfect. This is going to be the video beamer on the tiny table. What are the people watching? What are they watching? I should have come up with a better idea, but there was no better idea. Now another tree in the corner. This poster on the wall. I tried to read it, but it was too difficult. Then we have this table and the 2 screens hanging on the wall. The table underneath. And this is going to be the tiny ring binder. Yeah, maybe we can even create the ring binder by using this piece of wire. Let's see how it looks. It's tiny, it's so tiny. And we can glue this table to the wall. Somehow this room feels empty, because there is nothing right in the middle, but I like the room. I just like it. Then we have this tiny shelf and... oh no, I lost one of the guys. Where is it? Somewhere down here. I have no idea. Oh, this one was also from the Scout map. I finally found it. I can now glue it to the map, maybe. Huh. Okay, it's quite not satisfying that one statue is missing. Yeah, these are the paintings on the wall. And wait! Oh, there is a statue. Maybe we can use this one. Just cutting it out and placing it right there. Nobody will notice. I think this is my favorite part of the whole creation. Once you have done all the crazy details, now you can assemble it and put it together. These are the bookshelves. It's not so much work right now, but the whole creation changes so much from minute to minute. The television with the DVD sign on it, but we'll do this in a minute. We have the walls. Just glue a tiny piece of cardboard on top. Also right there. And we have this outline. And this is probably my most favorite detail on the whole creation. The DVD symbol, because they don't have a Blu-ray player up there. Or maybe the whole setting of Among Us is 10 years back, who knows. And as we recognize in the Scout map tutorial, on the table, right in the admin room, this is a miniature of the whole map you are playing on. This means this is a tiny miniature of the Polus map. Amazing, right? We're using this transparent piece of straw to make the hologram float in the air. And there are some books shattered around. The knowledge is shattered on the table. Okay, we're gluing the table in the admin room. Beautiful room. This one as well. We need some steam. Disinfecting steam. And this is just some white wool. Now we should close the door again. And when we are going up the tunnel, well, we need some windows. And it's getting a little bit lovelier. And this is the last room, guys. And then we finished this first part. We have the specimen room with some of my favorite details. The treasure chests. And the table right in the middle. Well, I wanted to illuminate these whole testing tubes. And I have still some chain of lights, which we could use. Okay, we made the connection to the table. Another water tank. And as we already used the transparent clay, the translucent clay, well, let's give it a try. We make some holes. My poor table. Let's see what it looks like. Hopefully the testing tubes are illuminated and it works, it looks beautiful. And if not, well, maybe I'll make a makeover and do these with the resin, with colored resin. But I'll keep this for the last part of the Polus series. This will be a coating for the stumps of the light. All we have to do is to stick it over the lamps and glue the testing tubes on top. Well, what do we see right there? What is printed on the testing tubes? We have the specimens, which are alien, and some air bubbles inside. But let's talk about the aliens. They are harvesting aliens right there. I don't think these are plants. It's alien babies. Another beautiful detail. Also these tiny clipboards. Oh, I forgot a dot. And we can glue these onto the table as well. And I'm so excited. Okay. Well, the illumination doesn't really go to the top, but still it looks nice. This is the outer part. Yeah, I'll redo these with the resin. We have a tube on the outside and the 5 openings for the ventilation. Okay. And now we have the printouts of the wall from the outside part with some snow details on these. And I just repeated the pattern while doing some Photoshop. And this gave me this beautiful wallpaper, which we can now use. And from the outside parts, this was probably my favorite spot, with this gigantic tube coming right out of the wall right there, with the steering wheel to opening the tube itself. Another security cam. You can't have enough security cams, especially when you're on Mars. Okay, this is the last spot for the last security cam. Closing the glue. Guys, I guess that's it! Polus Map Part 1 with admin, office, and the specimens room. Yeah, we have some further videos ahead of us. I really hope you enjoyed today's video creating the first part of the Polus Map with office, admin and specimen room. Hey guys, today we are finally continuing our Among Us Polus series. Today we are creating the room's laboratory. It's one room, it's laboratory, but it's big. I am ready. This is my fight. Me against the web designers. Web designers? Map designers of Among Us. I am prepared. These are my weapons. And this time, they won't screw me over again. Because I will do my very best to create this part 2 out of cardboard and clay with my weapons. This is today's location. Laboratory is gigantic. It has almost the size of part 1. The part 1 of the Polus map, which we already have created with multiple rooms. This one has also multiple rooms, but it's just one location. I did some screenshots on the tablet to get these beautiful blueprints, and we are gluing them onto the cardboard. And this time I am prepared. I learned my lessons. Yeah, this was a big fight. The Scout map. Oh boy. But I learned a lot about creating maps, creating them physically. Oh yeah! For those of you who are new to the channel, first of all, welcome. Second, how to put this in words. I'm not a person to complain a lot about anything, but the 2 map designers of Among Us They created a beautiful layout, a beautiful gameplay experience, but they did something, which I will tell you. They draw this map, designed some furnitures and inventory and all that kind of stuff. But they made a decision. They decided, hey, we are artists, let's screw with the perspective, for example. This means when you look closely onto the map, into the map of Polus, for example, you'll see that behind some of the walls there is nothing. Nothing! You see this right there? Where you can see the shelves? It's not that there is not only nothing, there's no floor, it just makes no sense. This is part 1 of the Polus map. I'll continue complaining about the map designers, but I may have done a mistake. They got me again! They got me! This time not with the perspective, because I was prepared. You know this. This time I printed out the wrong size. Yeah. Well done, printer. Okay. This means I have to start all over again, but don't worry, I'll make it very quick. And now you can see the top one is the old one, the bottom one is the new one. I somehow screwed up while taking the screenshots. Yeah, even I do some mistakes. It's not always the map designer's fault. I'm the bigger man here to admit this. Let's take our hot glue gun and we start quickly attaching all the walls, which are not logically in the game. Also the ways, for example. Horizontally ways are way more narrow than vertical ways and hallways. It's just not logically. But probably it would look boring if everything would be accurate. Yeah, maybe. Okay. This is the door. I did this on part 1 as well. And I wanted to put in this tiny function. Let's see if it works. Ta-da! No, the door can slide open. And this is the connection piece. The way the tunnel, which is leading over the lava. Floor is lava! Your phone is lava! Your phone is lava! Sorry. Okay. Sometimes I get really excited about stuff. Cardboard, for example. Rolled cardboard. A slap of passion. This is cardboard, but it's, well, the scalpel, it's a video editing trick. I didn't really do this with the real scalpel, don't worry. And never try this. No, I mean, I'm really serious about this. I can't believe nothing has really happened with a scalpel or with the scissors in the past in my clay and cardboard career. Knocking on wood. Look at this corrugated wall, which we have now in the tunnel. And it looks exactly like the wall in the game. These are the printouts of the walls, and I had to print out some of these multiple times because, well, a room has 4 walls, most walls, not always, in Among Us, for example. This is the wall with all the beautiful details. Then I take a second, third and fourth one, and I just take away the tiles, this beautiful pattern. Same goes also for the other rooms. This is the one with the beds inside. Can anyone tell me what these beds are about? Is it like a hospital? The lines. And also the weather station. I really love the details in the bathroom. Let's take care of the exterior walls. It's over and over again the same pattern, so I printed it out 4 times. Later, when we will create all the landscape around, I will make some tiny hills, I'll add the rocks and the holes in the ground. But this is something we'll do in a completely new video, in an extra video. Okay, let's see. We have this room, then the laboratory itself with the beds, the toilet, restroom, and decontamination. Is it my fault or the map designer's fault? The door is removing the wallpaper. Let's check down here if we have any details we have to create out of clay. Nope. Green clay. We are starting with the restroom. These will be the doors, obviously, and also the walls between the different cabins of the toilet, where no one is hiding in. I know where to put the imposter once we are finished. And I have to create some more characters out of Tic Tacs. I'm not really sure why I am creating 3 toilets, because we only need 2 of these, but it felt wrong. We have 3 cabins. In one of them is a hole. What to do with the spare toilet? Okay, here's the deal. I'll include it randomly in any order which is coming into the online store this weekend. Or maybe in all orders which are coming in this weekend, which is January 8th, 9th and 10th. Only on ClayClaim.com, and I'll probably hate myself for this. You can buy the Among Us sets, for example. I better get started working on all the toilets. Enough of the advertisement. We have these 6 lockers in the hallway. And they look so simple, and they are made quite simple and quite easy, but boy, I love them. Now this room, there's going on a lot. We have the desk in the lower left corner with some details on top. And this is the desk. We have a clipboard, well, 2 of these, a milkshake, and the folded card. Now let's stick in the straw. It's just wire. You won't be able to suck the milk out of it. White and gray, and we'll get this beautiful, well, dirty white, which is used for instruments a lot. Computers in the 90s were made out of this ochre white, and I miss this color because no one is using it anymore. It looks so dirty nowadays. Or have you seen an ochre computer anywhere? I like the details of the screen with a weather map on top, and also this device. I think it's for measuring the temperature, I guess. Some people call it thermometer. And now, sorry, we have the laboratory itself with this huge table full of experiments. And I felt remembered to my chemistry class back in school. Now we have some beautiful details on the right side of the rooms, right next to the beds. How to create them? Let's take away some white clay, because they look like a triangle. And we will make them quite comfortable with this beautiful pillow. And then there is an instrument right next to the beds. I have no idea what this is. Literally no idea. If you know what these instruments are these just table right next to the beds? I have no idea. Please write it down and let everyone know if you have an idea what this is. well, right next to the beds. We have 2 beautiful sinks to do some experiments, and also these clipboards as well, and the Erlenmeyer flasks, which we will put in the background. One is elevated to put some fire underneath, probably. And probably my favorite detail on this table is the testing tube holder within, I think, 4 or 5? 4 testing tubes. And then we have in the corner this fridge, which also includes some testing tubes, and I think there's also a task around this shelf, but I'm not really sure about this, but I think so, yes. Oh guys, I haven't played Among Us for weeks now. I am somehow waiting for the new map to arrive so that I then can complain. No, let's first create the airship and then complain about the design. I heard it was already leaked because it found its way into the Switch version, and some of the screenshots were accidentally leaked. If any one of you can tell me where to find these, because I tried to find them, I would love to start the map right away. And well, the alternative would be to wait. This is the telescope, also one of my favorite parts, and we're ready to go into the oven! While everything is still baking inside the oven, we are working on all the contours, which are gray. And together with the hot glue gun, this shouldn't be a problem. Is it just me, or does the map already look somehow finished once these contours are added to the map, to the walls? Okay, we need a gap for the doors, obviously. And this is a little bit tricky. The deepening in the wall. Fits perfectly, and we can continue with the tunnel and also create this covering to create the contour. And we need some more hot glue gun. Now, all the walls and the map made out of cardboard is finished. We have all the details made out of clay. And guess what? We will start painting some details onto these. The mirror, for example. He has some cracks and reflections. And, well, the stripe in the middle, the silver one, wasn't originally there in the game, but I thought it, well, artistic choice. And the toilet, let's fill in some water, which is transparent polish. And maybe we make it a little bit more shiny. Whoops. And cleaning the toilet, because no one else is doing it. And this is the door lying on the ground. We have this beautiful shelf right under the mirror. Now we finished all the cabins in the toilet. Someone should call the janitor, one door is broken. These are the lockers. And I decided to paint these ventilation stripes a little bit more black. This is the desk. We need to create the map, which is lying on the desk, obviously. I printed it out in different sizes. And we are doing this beautiful folding technique. And let's see what it looks all combined when we are assembling it. onto the table, the 2 clipboards. Now let's put it into the corner. Ah, it looks so beautiful. We have this screen, gigantic screen of the weather map and some further monitors and instruments, which we will glue into this room. This one in the corner. And now I'm so excited to finally create the laboratory table with all the beautiful details. The testing tube holder goes right on top. And then we have some paper attached to the clipboards. Just wrote some notes. And then, well, why would be there a milkshake holder right next to the testing tube fridge? I have no answer for this. I used thin perspex for the screen, for the glass window. This is always so difficult, gluing and assembling together this railing in the background. And maybe someone can tell me, why would there be a railing right in space? It should be a closed room where everyone can breathe fresh air, made of a ventilation system. But no, it's an open wall right in space on a space station. I don't get it. Well, okay, you could say that all the Among Us characters are wearing a mask, therefore they get enough oxygen, but it still doesn't really make sense that the wall is away just for the telescope, that no window is disturbing while watching the stars. I doubt it. It's a hospital, right? These holders, I've seen them in the hospital. I have to admit, when I started this creation, I had no idea how to create the curtain and also this holder. But I think it looks nice. Also, these curtains, are they just only on the corners, or do they even go to the walls? All these questions, because you can't tell from the gameplay itself. Let's assemble the telescope with a beautiful tripod. I'm curious if the tripod can hold the weight, if it can support the whole thing. Oh, look at that. Placing it right next to the railing, which doesn't really make sense in outer space. Some disinfecting fog. And guys, I guess that's it! Polus Part 2! Today with laboratory! And another room with laboratory. And another one. And another one. And a beautiful telescope. Okay, now let's see what both parts look like combined. It has almost the size of the scaled map. And we're back! Guys, we're finally continuing our Polus map, this gigantic thing, and I'm not afraid at all, and I didn't procrastinate over the past weeks. We are creating weapons, communications, and storage. Finally! Guys, I'm finally at this point where I'm really looking forward to create and to continue Polus. I just needed a break from this gigantic project. This is weapons, this is communications. We'll have a close look at the different rooms which we will create. We have storage, of course. And, well, let's start with the printouts. I know so many of you asked me to continue this series. And after I finished the scaled map, I thought, okay, you've done probably the most difficult thing ever. From now on, everything will be easy. Well, and then Polus came along And yeah, I managed 2 parts and then I just needed a break. But to be honest, I am looking forward to create this thing. And I can already see the final version, the final artwork in a frame hanging on my wall. Yeah, and I'm going to celebrate this moment when I have finally finished the Polus Map. Yeah, but well, it's still a long road to go. We start with the first room, and I thought I'll guide you through my crafting process with cardboard first, later clay. But let's also talk about some of the... Oh, an accident. This was a stupid accident. Yeah, what I wanted to... Well, what I just mentioned. I want to talk about the design of the different rooms because I discovered some secrets. Well, not really secrets. Just stupidities in the map design. And we are back complaining about the map designer. No, I'm not. After they really replied under part 2 of the Polus Map, I'm careful with what I am saying right now. I made some printouts, beautiful printouts of the 2 types of walls which we have. These different rooms, which means weapons, communications and storage, have this blue wall inside and this, well, what's it called, brownish walls for the outside part. They're all designed in a similar way, which makes it quite easy because I had to print out just once these walls and with the windows, which you have just seen. And the map design has these beautiful dark gray outlines. I've done this before. I didn't do this on the scaled map because all the different rooms in the scaled map are somehow embedded into this gigantic piece of cardboard which I created. And we didn't need any type of outline, but now on the Polus map we have standalone buildings. And well, it would be a pity to just see the cardboard pattern on top of the walls. And I decided to go with this technique. Now we are inside weapons. Inside weapons means we have this gigantic generator. We have this desk, which I am creating right now. And we have a computer, or at least a monitor, standing right onto it with a keyboard, a mouse and a joystick. Yeah, a joystick for the task to destroy the asteroids. Okay, perfect. This will be the keyboard and the joystick. Maybe we can take a piece of wire and stick it inside and it should be still movable. Oh. Okay. Now connect this to the device itself. For the generator itself, I thought we take, it's not a toilet paper roll, it's just a cardboard roll. And with blue and silver, we are wrapping around a very thin layer of clay. And this should work perfectly. I've done this before on the scaled map. And I remember creating the first generator. And then on the second one, engine, on the second engine, did I say generator? My bad. I totally forgot how to create it, so I ended up watching my own video in the tutorial to finish the engine. I think some of you thought this was funny, but well, it was just, I needed help. Yeah, a beautiful engine slash generator. And we have some screws, which I am adding to it right now. What I really love about the design of this generator slash engine is the color combined, this purple, which you can also see on the outside part. of this weapon device. At first we have this bright blue for the pipe, adding some silver to it, the connection pieces, and the tower itself of the weapon. Again, the same purple with this tower. And you may recognize these blue stripes also from the Scaled map. You remember the engines which also have these stripes. And with this paperclip we can perfectly create the double-barreled weapon which we have right here. What's left? Well, we need these metallic pieces, the support for the walls, which are all on the outside of all the 3 buildings which we are creating today. And it's quite simple. Let's go into the oven. Freshly baked weapons! And now the funny part starts. We're assembling them. Let's start with the engine / generator. And then we have this desk. I just painted some tiny keys onto the keyboard. And we can glue this into the corner. I used this piece of cardboard to get it a little bit elevated. The cable and also the weapon tower, which goes right there. Remind me somehow of this turret from a Star Wars movie. I don't know why. And what I'm doing right now, well, this is quite characteristic for Among Us. This brightness and also the shadows within the illustrations which we have. And I'm using this gray pen for some shadows and the white one for some beautiful highlights. And this is the Wi-Fi signal which we are gluing to the wall. Perfect. And now the supporting structure around the different walls of our building. Okay. Oh no, I glued it to the table. That's it. Room number 1 for today, which is weapons. Yeah, I wasn't really sure if I should keep the final spinning versions of the creations to the end of the video or include them. I decided to include them. So this is communications, and we are cutting out the floor, and then later we'll focus on all the walls. It's very similar to the first building which we built, very similar to weapons. We have this tunnel, and I somehow screwed it up on the very first room on the weapons, because it's this corrugated metal wall which we have. Also used it on the first part of the Polus map. Okay, now this should work. Now for the door. Yeah, the floor has some height of the building, and later I thought when I have one day finished all the different buildings and I am thinking about to create the landscape, I think I'll do this with paper mache or with some type of paper clay, and just modeling all the mountains and hills and the crater. I think this will be fun. Yeah. But still, another 2 videos I think to go. We have the dropship, obviously, and after this, security O2, the building on the left side. Now let's see. What do we have as interior? We have the desk and the antenna on the outside part. And we start with clay. I am mixing the bright green, which I have done before. It's the same green which you will find on many pieces, interior pieces of the Polus map, and also within the Scaled map. And I was quite surprised that I saw some similarities between this map and also the Scaled map. tables looked the same, colors were the same. Yeah, let's fill them with milk. It's probably milk. The left one is real milk. The one on the right side, it's rice milk drink. Rice drink. Milk. This beautiful egg, which goes right there. I have no idea why there is a f***ing fried egg on the table. Tell me, please. I want to know. I need to know. In the corner we have these consoles with the pipe and 3 different screens. And it's also funny to see that the same console can be found on the scaled map, but a little bit different. And then we have the 2 antennas, one straight one, and this one is a little bit twisted, and we stick it in, and after oven hardening I think it will be quite a beautiful effect. We'll draw this Wi-Fi symbol onto it. This is the antenna, connected by black wires. I created the different parts separately of the antenna, and we're ready to go into the oven. Freshly baked interior of communications. The supporting structure. Yeah, I'll start with this one, so that we make sure that the whole building doesn't fall over. Yep, perfect. The desk in the middle with a fried egg and the 2 glasses of milk. The straw. We should make a real straw. Is it possible to drink out of this tiny straw? I'd say yes. Well, it's a paper straw. It won't last very long. We have a tiny keyboard, mouse on the back side. The 2 screens with this reflecting light effect. And we are gluing them to the wall. We have the locker on the left side and the Wi-Fi signal, which goes right there. And the console. The console needs to go into the corner. It's the inner part of the antenna. Both pieces are connected by this tube. This is the beautiful satellite dish. Same dish which you find on the outside part of the scaled map. Outside the spaceship. And guys, that's it. Communications with a fried egg. Why? Why? Maybe we find some answers about the fried egg in the next and the last room for today. This is storage, and there are some hidden secrets in this room. First, let's cut out the layout of this room. I think it's probably my favorite one out of these 3 rooms. Not because of gameplay mechanics, but because of the design. It's a little bit messy inside. We have all these boxes, 2 barrels full of milk. No, 3 barrels full of milk. And this shelf, the beautiful shelf with a lot of stuff inside. And we'll have a look at this later. The hole in the ground for the imposter, of course. I left them out. I think that I'll make like a tunnel system when all the different pieces are finished, and I am about to put them together to assemble the whole thing, and I am placing them onto the landscape. Yeah, that sounds good. These are the boxes, same green I used for storage on the scaled map as well. So they are basically the same design. The map designer didn't want to come up with a new design for the new maps, and that's okay, because it should feel like somehow the same game, although it's a quite different map itself. Now these are the barrels with the hole on top. And now the shelf. Let's have a look. It's this yellowish brown, if this makes sense. We have 3 levels in each of these 2 things. Let's get it a little bit bigger. Yeah. Now we can go into detail. In the first shelf we have this metallic pieces, tubes. Then we have some rocks, same color like the planet. And some vegetables. Vegetables, guys. And there's only one explanation. Someone is hiding food. On the Polus map we have this enormous sandwich. Maybe it's also some bed sheets, who knows. And 2 pieces of dynamite sticks. Yeah. And also another rock. Or an eggplant. Freshly baked storage things. We now know for sure that someone is spreading around and hiding food on the Polus map. You should come up with beautiful stories and I'll tell them in the next part. Meanwhile, I wanted to share some amazing artworks which you have done and you shared it in the subreddit. Raphael at the beginning, amazing. Some further Pokemon, Undertale, beautiful things. It's always a pleasure. And this one, look at that, even the shoes. You guys are crazy, but I love your artwork so much. It's a pleasure so much to create for you and with you and also get inspiration from you. We are gluing all the different parts into the storage, well, just to be safe. That no, I forgot the canister, the red canister. Luckily I had a spare one. And we are gluing it right there. I'll promise, Scalp Map, I'll create you another one. I'm so sorry. Yeah, what a crazy day. What's left? We're assembling the shelf. The task for you, first, tell me why there is food all over the place, also on hidden spots. Second, I am thinking about membership. I thought about this before, as you know, and I want to know what are the perks, what do you want to see to get? Is it an additional video? Is it a live stream? Or do you hate membership, the membership function on YouTube? Let me know, write it down in the comments. Now, placing the shelf. We have the eggplant placing on the floor, and guys, it's a rock. That's it! Storage! I hope you enjoyed this part of the Polus map. We created weapons, communications and storage. And now let's see what all the different parts look combined. Okay, let's see. We have part 1. Then we have part 2 and part 3 with weapons, communications and storage. Whoa! Now we have the dropship, security, O2 and the whole landscape left. Finally, we are continuing the Polus map. This is part 4. We are creating the dropship together with some very cute crewmates killing each other off from the roadmap update. I can't believe we are continuing Among Us. Which one? Polus. This is part 4. And, well, these buildings, we have created them all. The storage, for example, look at that. How accurate. For today's video we have the dropship. Well, there's not much inside to create, but we have some crewmates in today's video to create as well. And I'm really looking forward to this because it's brand new content from the roadmap video, which Inner Sloth released just a few days, weeks ago. Well, it's not that old. I printed out this beautiful dropship and I'm using this as a blueprint to cut it out with my scalpel. This is so satisfying. Cutting the cardboard. But it's exhausting too. And it takes time. Well, it always looks that easy. But I'm not sure if you realize cutting cardboard with a scalpel is... Okay, it's satisfying. I don't want to complain. We have others to blame in the Polus or Among Us series. Now we have the floor of the dropship, and this is somehow our base layer for the walls, which I am cutting out right now. We are bending around the cardboard walls. They are a little bit higher compared to all the different rooms which we have created so far. But as you know, once we have created the dropship, we can hopefully use it also on different maps. Subscribe to don't miss the future Polus videos. They are coming every 3 or 4 months. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I know that it took forever and so many of you asked for it, and I just needed a longer break and I wanted to do some different stuff. I was frightened. Okay, I admit it. This map was just too huge to create, and well, one day, who knows, I will finish it. This is the gray on top of the walls. Instead of printing out all the details, it's a great way to use this colored cardboard. I don't know if you have seen the roadmap video from Inner Sloth, where they are introducing all the new updates which are coming. Some of them are already even released, I think. The 15 players one, I'm not sure about that. And I really loved the different game modes which we will get, and my highlight, of course, the new map. I read some comments that the new map will be called Road Map. I don't think so. I think it will be a technical setting. We see on this tiny hint on this image a button from a server, and I think there was also another hint with some servers. Well, who knows? Hopefully we don't have to wait that long. Now we can work on the engines on the left side and right side of the dropship. I'm using, well, cardboard for this, and only the engine itself will be used as a printout. And the rest of the color will be glued onto with colorful cardboard. Okay, it's gray. Yeah, I'm really excited right now. We are leaving for a camping weekend in just 2 hours. I haven't started packing yet. And it started raining. Everything you need to have a perfect weekend. But I'm still quite excited. We have a camper van. We bought it 1 year ago and we haven't used it. And now it's time, well, to put this into the bin, but to test out the camper van. Yeah, hopefully if there is a video next week, I have survived the weekend and I can tell you more about the first camping weekend in our camper van. Right now I am starting with the interior. We have 10 seats to create. In the update for 15 players, I'm wondering where they will put the 5 extra seats, because it will look ugly. It's not symmetrical anymore when you have 15 seeds. You either put 3 on the right and 2 on the left. Well, I have no idea. Now the seat belts. Don't forget the seat belts. I try to place them with a scalpel right in the middle, and then they are connected on the sides, so we have 3 connection points to the seats itself. And then we can continue with the next clay part. This is olive green, and we're mixing it together with some white, because then we get this beautiful bright green, and maybe you already recognize the color. This will be for the boxes, standing on the right and left side of the dropship. And we not only have the boxes, but the 2 milk barrels on the left side. Okay, we're closing them so that no milk can be released by accident, and we are putting this into the oven. But before, you may have noticed there is some snow on 3 of these boxes. It's just white clay. And meanwhile, we can work on the 2 consoles on the left and right side to the engines. The sculpting tool is serving pretty well to attach these tubes. And we have another tube by just using twisted clay, dark and bright gray. And the consoles. And it looks nice so far. Let's get back to the spaceship, because we have some more clay details, which I missed. Maybe you remember my assistant. And I'm still looking for a name, if you have a beautiful name for my clay assistant. So useful. Look at that. We are creating the edge protection of the engines, which are all blue, and they are created in a very geometrical way with my knife. And in the end they look like this and will be glued onto the space dropship, which now needs a front. It's a brighter gray for the front. It's also the area where this big window will be glued onto. But I'm pretty sure you know what I mean. Okay. I moved the printer on the right side next to my desk to make it more convenient when I need some blueprints or decorational stuff. Or gift cards. I'm printing out a lot of gift cards. Damn it! We have finished the dropship so far. I'm looking for my Tic Tacs. They must be somewhere in this shelf. Magnets. Ah, there they are. No sweet, but a creative material. New roles. Sheriff. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this update. Banana. We start with this guy. Like in the very first Tic Tac Among Us video, I am using the Tic Tac as the filling. It makes them all the same size when you coat the Tic Tac in a thin layer of clay, putting on the visor, and now the banana, well, the peel of the banana. Oh, Looks so cute, doesn't it? Now the next one, I wanted to create another, well, new skin, which we are getting with the new updates. The grey man with the heads, the two heads combined. Everything grey. He looks so cheerful. Perfect. And now let's work on my personal highlight in today's video. We are taking the crewmate with the worst new color imaginable, maroon, and we make him the victim. We are coating the Tic Tac. The whole guy looks a little bit bended, as if he is flying in the air. Well, he is flying because he gets killed right now by this guy, by this bright, happy blue guy with a balloon head. Subscribe if you haven't, so don't miss the future Polus videos or Among Us updates. And hopefully it doesn't take that long again. Carefully sticking the balloon on top, and we have the balloon head. Yeah. We have the imposter killing the crewmate with his tongue, with his sharp tongue. This killing method, well, it's not new, but it was within the roadmap update video, and I'm not sure why. Is it because it's a new animation? This poor guy. He's blind now, he can't see anything. And then the teeth. We must not forget the teeth for our imposter. It makes him look so happy. Yeah, that's the right word. Now, this looks beautiful, and we can put him carefully into the oven for oven hardening. Freshly baked parts of the dropship, while the crewmates are still in the oven. We can assemble the dropship. Well, we have these edge protections, or maybe it's just some design choices of the map designers. Well done, map designers, well done. And then we bring all 10 seats in position. And again, I'm really wondering where they will put the 5 extra seats, maybe right in the middle. Now these are the boxes, the storage boxes. We have done these before, I think in the very first Polus part. And now the 2 barrels filled with milk. And now let's put them to the sides to see what it looks like. It looks exactly like in the game. Now the crewmates. We're coloring the visor because we have this beautiful reflection and the black outline. Well, it makes them look like an Among Us crewmate. Now this guy, the grey guy with a double head. Same procedure. The black outline for this guy. And now the highlight. Well, my personal highlight. I just like when people are killed, when crewmates are killed in games. This came off so wrong. Now the post-it, which says dumb. I guess dump, but it's mirrored because he's being killed. I don't know why. Some last details, and guys, I guess that's it! Polus Part 4, the dropship, with some beautiful crewmates from the new roadmap update. Woohoo! Now, let's see what the whole thing looks combined, what we have so far. Okay, I need a bigger desk to finish the Polus map. You kept asking for it! We are continuing the Polus map today with electrical security and O2. And I'm not sure if I still have all the parts to... Yes, we are back after 1 year of procrastination. We are finally finishing the Polus map. I can't tell you why. Maybe it was too big, too frightening, too... I don't know. Well, all that counts is that we are continuing the map. We have electrical security and O2, and we start with electrical. The idea for today's video is I enjoy some beautiful tea, then print out all the maps, put it onto cardboard, and finally we will, well, create some walls and then beautiful details with clay and bring it all together to one vivid map. It's the 5th part of the Polus map. It's huge. It has almost twice the size of the scaled map, which I also completely created with cardboard and clay. And now I shut up so you can enjoy cardboard cutting sounds. This is the size of today's part of today's map. Let's talk about the map designer for a minute. Well, you know that I complained about the map designer in former videos. Not today. Today will be different. Well, we will get to some certain points where I'm really struggling, but I'm so thankful for the beautiful map design. We have the walls right now and our hot glue gun. And let's see which magic we can do with it. Oh, this is 8K. So the main problem I was facing during creation, I had to decide where to place all the different walls. Because the perspective of the game, it's 2D, and I'm creating in 3D, as you know. Oh, there will be one final part of the Polus map. Make sure to subscribe, hit the bell, so you will get a notification. It may only take 5 years, just kidding. This time it's way quicker. The next video is around the corner. We put in some hot glue sauce in between the walls. And slowly we can recreate and place all the beautiful cardboard parts. Oh. This is part 1. Oops. On YouTube there is this kind of video where people create parkours and put their animals into these with hamsters. I was thinking about this while creating which type of animal I could put inside my Polus map once it is finished. So we have a lot of textures. On the walls we have the outside walls, which you can see right now. Crystal helped me to cut them out because look at that, it's a ton of texture for all the different walls. And then the inside parts where we will also create the clay details, and Andy did some beautiful retouching work on this with Photoshop and removed the elements so that I could create them with clay in security, for example. Or this room, which was O2, part of O2. And now that we have all the walls in position, we can plan and go ahead with the top view of the walls. In former parts I also used the same color. I thought it looks way more elegant than just the cardboard look. The inside part. Look at that. Looks so professional. I'm looking forward to this part, because we start working with clay. We have security, we have the shelf, we have the television screens, 3 of them, and a lot of videotapes. We start with the shelf. At which time is Among Us happening? I'm asking because we see a lot of old school tech stuff, like the videotapes, for example, and old video recorders. These are the videotapes. And we are in space. It's somehow a romantic look on this whole space theme and the astronauts. So we have like 9 different videotapes, all lying on the floor and in the shelves. With gray clay, I create these tiny spinning elements of these. After often hardening, we can paint some further details, so it's getting quite tiny. This time we have the 3 television screens, one bigger one in the middle and on the left and right side. And I think I will also add some white paint to the screens so that they are quite strong. Then we have this tiny table right next to the entrance of security. And let's have a look what is lying on this table. Okay, a few paperwork and additional tapes. Another one on the right side. This folder with paperwork. And the first room, security, is finished and ready to go into the oven.
Part 2.
Ooh. Next room, what do we got? Oh yeah, we have this beautiful hallway with these 5 spins, and I think we may have seen them also in different parts of the Polus map, but honestly I can't remember, because it's been such a long time. You kept asking and asking for the 5th part, and without you guys I would have never started again. This project was maybe a little bit too huge. I got discouraged during the process. Yeah, we have these beautiful green boxes all over the map. On this one is this red box, and we have some tools lying on this. A shovel on the left side. And once this part is finished, on the left side of the hallway we find the hole in the ground, the tunnel for the imposter. And we have some building site elements and details there. But let's finish this beautiful tiny shovel first. Okay, looking good so far. I'm wondering if the developers of Among Us will bring out a new map. The latest map with airship was released, I think, a few months ago, at the end, autumn of last year. Yes, I think so. And as you know, I created this Rubik's Cube with the airship map on top of this, which was really crazy, but a fantastic creative challenge for me. The vent, which is broken. So we fold it over, we bend it like this. It looks like this in the end. And then we have some mud and rocks lying on the ground. Also this purple piece. And now my favorite room, O2. With beautiful bird noises in the background. And we start with the trunk. We have this gigantic tree right in the middle with the leaves and some additional elements. We have the screen which is hanging right onto the trunk. We have the hole in the ground and a pipe on the lower left corner. Now we have to make it stand up. Maybe adding some trunk elements and details. Like this eye. Is it called eye? The eye of the tree. As if he is watching you while you're hiding behind the trunk. Now we are placing the monitor on the screen. And then for the leaves, I decided to go with a mixture of two different kinds of green. We have the tropical green, and I think I threw in some apple green and olive. Is it called olive green? Yeah. So with the pointing tool and my toothbrush from years and years ago, we create a beautiful texture, putting it aside because we have another branch which is hanging down and which we can add after oven hardening. Okay, everything is finished. Now we have some tubes, and these are the connection tubes from one room to another. So the tubes, the pipe starts in the one with the tree and then goes into the one with the bottles, with the milk bottles. Just kidding. These are O2 bottles. Oh, what do you think? Well, let's put this into the oven. Now, the other O2 room. I'm struggling with the perspective. Just a little bit of this machine, the one with the ventilator on top. Should it? How is it? Okay, here's the problem of perspective of this map design. There is a piece right in the corner of this tiny room. It has a certain height, which is 2 centimeters. The room height has 2 centimeters, but on top of these 2 centimeters, we have this tube, this pipe, which goes into the wall, which is only 2 centimeters high. You guess it. It doesn't really make sense. It's like a shelf in a room which is bigger than the room, but it looks like as if it is fitting into the room. Great map design after all. Love it. So the solution I'm going for is I'm creating two parts of this machine which look like as if they are just one machine. Not really sure if you get me, but it makes sense in my mad mind right now. We have the ventilator in the front and the other part behind. But let's first work on the front part and the front elements with some further tubes. Well, nobody will see them because bottles are standing in front of them. The connection piece of the tube, which is connected to the other room with a tree. And then we have also this generator. Is it a generator? I can't remember the task which you have to do right here. Is Among Us still a thing? Are you still playing it? Are people still playing it? For me, Among Us is somehow a bad weather game. So in summer, I guess nobody is playing it when you can go outside. But once you spend some time inside, make it comfortable. Yeah, these are all the water bottles, by the way. No milk jokes, because I don't want to start another milk war with Danny. Haven't heard from him in a while. Hope he's alright. So, we put this into the oven, and now the boiler room. Oh, I forgot this in the intro. People will now complain that this room isn't really existing because I didn't mention it at the beginning, and it's still beautiful with all the tiny tubes on the wall and this boiler. Then we have the gigantic tubes, which is connecting down to the water with these wheels on top of it. So there's a lot of beautiful stuff to build. Another water tank inside and some elements. It is a water tank, right? looks like, I don't know, 100 liters. As we already mixed the color of these gigantic tubes, we can use them right now, and then we will also create 2 elements of the bigger room. Right next to O2 we have the door, garbage, and also the lever right next to it. I'm using very thin wire to stabilize these beautiful wheels, and that they work, that I can put some clay right in the middle. And after finishing the door and the lever, we can switch over to electrical. Oh yeah. It looks complicated, but I guess it really isn't, because we have 4 times the same generator, which we basically will create just with a beautiful electrical effect. And we have the electricity box hanging, the wall box for charging your car in the background, and that's it for this room. But these coils, because we have 6 on each generator, will take some time to create. Now we have finished these gray boxes together with lightning symbols on it, and these are the first part of the coils. We have the silver part, and on top of it, you can see it, comes this red brownish piece, which I will cut after oven hardening and assemble it.
Part 3. Yes.
Okay, before everything is freshly baked, I will use the paper clips to secure this hole in the ground, and we can stick the first sign onto it, painting these beautiful crosses. And now the fun starts, placing all the clay details into our part 5 of the Polus map. We have the vent, for example, and right next to it the security room with all the tiny tapes. And we can make them spin right now with a tiny gray detail. Ah, this looks so beautiful. This color combination of this red wine red and the shelf right next to it with a folder. We have the screens. And this room is almost finished. We can now, well, place some of the tapes on the ground. I have some leftovers. I think I may have created a little bit too much of these tapes. And now we go the whole way down, and we are in O2 with a tree.
Last but not least, part 4.
So we start placing the trunk to get somehow the perspective and the dimensions of all the other different items in this room. This one goes right here, and with the super glue we can also add the leaves. And now with a hole in the ground, only the wires and the tube are missing in this room. This tube will be connected to the lower O2 room, the one with all the bottles, so it will be connected right to the wall. And I thought it would look nice to add this white reflex on the screen. These are the 3 details which we have. Looks so adorable. And now all the weird wires connected to the tree as well. We have a red one, a blue and a yellow one. And you're ready to do some tasks in this room. And we can go to the second O2 room. With all the tubes, the bottles filled with milk. Can place them all over this place. I think in total we had 10 of these blue bottles. The boiler room, the lowest room, which we will create with tiny tube elements on the wall. We are almost there, about to finish today's map piece. We have these gigantic tubes left with the beautiful valves, with these steering wheels. One is placed on the left tube, one on the right. And I totally forgot about these walls, the one with the garbage task on it. So we are gluing the printout onto the wall, and then we have the clay door and the lever, which goes right next to it. Whoops, I forgot one of the tubes. And then we are going to assemble all these generators in electrical with the different coils, 6 on each of these pieces. You can see that I colored them. I made these gray clay blocks a little bit darker from the top to imitate the shadows. And now a piece of wire for a beautiful lightning effect, electricity effect. We put in some acrylic paint, white acrylic paint, and we can place these generators in electrical. Last working step for today, this beautiful fence, which we have. It has a different pattern. It goes diagonal, but this way the mesh is way more stable. I can't believe it. Guys, I guess that's it. Polus Part 5 with electrical O2, security, and don't forget about the boiler room. This is part 5 of the Polus map. Now I'm so curious to see all the different parts combined. So this one would go right here. Then we have the very first part I ever created, which goes right here. We have the dropship connection piece, which goes right there. And then we have 3 different single rooms right here. And some boxes, random boxes. One final part of the Polus map will come in the future with a landscape around where I can place all these pieces together. Well, it took some while to finally get into the project again, but now I'm excited to finish this. Today we are finishing the Polus map. ClayClaim. 26 years in the making, finally we are creating the Polus map. No, we are finishing it, and we start with the most random thing.
Snowman mass production, yes.
With the crafting project being that enormous, it's great to start tiny.
I put them on this acrylic thingy so that I could rotate them.
You can count to verify. I think we have a total of 9 snowmen hidden all over the map. They're just decoration, although I really would like to see a task with them being made. Look at that. The beautiful texture makes them look really like made out of snow.
This is the bone. Somebody got cut. Ah, yeah.
It's cute that we have a dead snowman on the map. The 3 guys catching the snow imposter, and we are ready to put this into the oven and continue with these tiny antennas, these electrical coils, which are also scattered all over the map with a total of 7. And we will put them all in position as well. They don't have a specific task in the game, but they just look beautiful and also match perfectly the electrical
A very thin blue line is used for these coils, and we place them all onto the plate and put them into the oven. Next stop, the rocks. We have multiple rocks. So many, also decorational elements, but you can also use them to hide behind. The smaller one are just decoration. This is the biggest, it's the three-headed tiny hill. And they are also snow-covered, which is beautiful and matches the snowy winter environment which we have.
A little imposter is walking down the aisle. Ding ding ding. Oh, Steve. Oh, psst, toilet. I love this room. So fun. Subscribe, guys. This is the first room that I'm doing that is not a real room with a rocket and a workbench.
It is located right behind laboratory and comes with the biggest hole in the ground except for lava. We have a stabbing knife on the ground and the rocket. Crystal starts with the working bench and later on also with the tiny tools.
It was a lot of fun doing such a miniature. It was a real struggle at first, but then I got the hang of it. This is some dirt out of the hole, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this finished project. You guys have been waiting so long. Oh my god. I told Simon, you know what? People are writing. They are giving up on us. Let's just do it. And this is the rocket. Some gray. You can do it this difficult way like I did, or you can just roll it. So after that comes another piece. I don't know what to tell you guys. Simon gives me the microphone and I just have to talk. And I'm not such an improvised talent like him. And the deal is I cannot say what you see. I have to tell other stuff, so I don't know what to tell you. I love working with clay, and I'm really glad that I'm working with ClayClaim. So this is the motor, and this is the inside of the fire, although it doesn't look like it.
We will add some wool after oven hardening and it will look perfectly fine, like the flame from the rocket. These are the feet, and now we are ready to put this into the oven. And after oven hardening, start assembling the bench. First, let's try to get a smooth surface for the table by using some sandpaper. This is the stabbing knife lying on the ground, and it's also the last detail before we continue with the map and with the next location.
Have you played this game? Yeah, of course you have. I haven't. So when I was building this, I didn't know this was a thermometer, so there is something missing. You will see it soon. Yes, Simon just showed me the task. There, I should have put in that thermometer some red stuff. I thought it was just a screen. So this is the jumping thingy. You cannot really jump down there on the lava. First I wanted to do it out of cardboard. could be possible as well. A lot of things you can do on cardboard, but clay is more fun. This was a mess. After this project, all my fingers were full of super glue. There I should have put some sound effect, like a... This is a fire, it's just a bit of wool.
And then we have also the lava board with the console where you have to make the temperature adjusting task. It's also finished and can be glued onto the map. Look at that. Crystal also created the tiny rocks with clay. We continue with cardboard. We have these two beautiful platforms in the upper part of the map. They are left and right next to the dropship, and they also come with a task. We are creating them with cardboard. The fence is made with red clay. It's the same technique we used on all the fences on the Polus map, but also the Scaled map, which we created.
These ramps with this, I don't know what they are. Tell me please in the comments. Were a bit difficult to glue on because everything was so tiny, and I tried to make these things all the same size, but in the moment where I had to glue them on the cardboard, they weren't all the same size and nothing glued, and it was a mess. So it's a fence. This fence, yeah, there I thought I was making everything perfect and even, but I wasn't. So in the end you will see I put just some glue there, and that way I didn't have to put glue on each and every one of these thingies. You can see the stings on the cardboard from my trial before. There, finished.
These are actually the last pieces which we had to create for the Polus map, because now we can start painting onto the foam board, which we started with. We have the ways, the connection pieces between the different rooms. And then also the darker purple for the in-between spaces, the planet itself. We make it a little bit brighter with white. And with a sponge we bring the color onto the surface, onto the ground, carefully until it's finished. And you know what's next. We can start assembling the map. We have some tiny holes, which we fill just with black and add some beautiful cracks and details. And we also have to create some rocks for the background. Same painting technique with a sponge. They get some shadows once they are placed on the map. This is the lava location. Crystal is creating a color gradient. And we also have to make some space for the snow.
So before I go to the clay and start making the snow, I wanted to make a stencil so that I know the size. And that I can put on the clay. This is air dry clay. You see the difference, it looks like ceramic. The experience was good, but when this clay dries, it changes the form. So if you want to have precise forms, better take the oven hardening clay, because these will bend or shrink, and also it changes color, but it wasn't as how do you say, white enough? Yeah, white enough as the snow, so we painted on it later. This is the snow pattern.
The most important and biggest task is ahead of us. We are gluing all the elements into the frame, into a black wooden frame, which Crystal also had created. And this is the first room. It's electrical security and boiler room and O2. The snow goes right next to it. We are using hot glue gun, so we can't change it anymore. This is the left platform. The dropship is in position. And, well, I'm fixing a broken piece. And paint over it that we get an even surface, making the hole a little bit brighter, also in the background. And now we can continue placing the next rooms and next elements. This is communication and weapons. Then we have office, admin, storage, and the snow in between. Some boxes, of course. Some barrels and laboratory gets connected to a specimen room, which is glowing. There is an LED light included. The dropship gets placed. I'm getting so excited. Another barrel, which we place in position.
Oh, is this really the right snow piece?
Oh, I did a mistake. No, not really. Some more hot glue sauce. Final placement of dropship with hot glue sauce. And also the second platform gets put in position. You now get the top perspective so that you see this whole piece. It's enormous. It is so huge. Last snow pieces and also the mountains in the background get some shadows with dark purple. And now they blend in with the whole landscape.
I tried to glue this fence here.
We're assembling the room right next to a laboratory with the rocket, the working bench, the tiny rocks, and the knife, the stabbing knife on the ground for the imposter, the three-headed tiny hill, and the springboard to take a hot bath in the lava with the temperature adjusting game task. It's not a game, it's a serious task. And finally, we are placing the snowman on the map.
So? Yeah. Oh no!
Crystal glued herself
Now the other one.
right onto the snowman. And as the last working step, we are assigning the map. that's it! 33 years in the making, the Polus Map, which is now officially finished!